This is my little notes here on the Boston scene. Some of you may have heard of the Cantab, which is a very famous location for many years for bluegrass musicians coming through the Northeast. And so the Cantab, only recently within the past year, is no longer hosting the bluegrass music. It's been replaced by a place called Lily Peas, which is actually an even better location, and it has a lot to I think we can learn a lot for a ideal jamming location from Lily Peas, the way that it's set up. It's got good parking. That's step one, right? To getting a lot of people in a location. It has a parking garage that plenty of people can fit in, and then the location itself has multiple jam locations. So we could be in one room that's sort of sound isolated. On the other side of the room, there's another sound isolation. There's a spot where live music can be performed. Usually, it's great to combine jams with gigs that already happen. So, like if you wanted to start a new jam, and the easiest way to do that would be to couple it with a performance or a concert, a bluegrass concert, where there's already going to be people there. Now, I always like to throw that in there because it's likely that people are going to be there, and if they're told there's going to be a jam before or after, they'll probably bring their instrument. So that is the case with this. They always have a jam after the show. They also have hallways in the back. They're kind of sound isolated, and people jam in the hallways there too. There's a good here's a hallway jam, an example of just the back hallways of the jam scene. So this is all the jams in this area might vary from swing to bluegrass to old time. This particular snippet was an old time jam. This is a John Hartford tune called Squirrel Hunter. They're kind of playing this tune in a bluegrass style where they pass solos and things like that, but make sure to check that out. So another kind of host for this kind of music, and I'll talk about how this location's unique as well. This is the Burren, and it has all sorts of jams. Here's some pictures from their jams. So you see a great part of this location is it has this kind of circle setup where it's easy to, in an old time or Irish jam, that's kind of an ideal setup where you can get really small concentric circles. So bluegrass jams are kind of better with like one small circle of kind of like less than 10 people ideally. So you can hear the solos and the singing and things like that. An old time or Irish session really thrives in a place where you can have like a really tight small circle and then concentric circles, meaning people on the outside that are playing, picking up the tunes and things like that. So you see the way that this is set up is really ideal for that. I'll show you I actually have some other pictures to share with you about that. This is actually, for those of you who are kind of more professionally performance-minded, this is actually a setup that this band at that Burren location is set up to perform. The location here wants to capture kind of the sound of, just a regular Irish pub with musicians sitting around a table here. And so you see the way that they capture that is they have that space, that circular kind of space that I mentioned, but this location sets up microphones not only on the table, but also kind of above. You can see one hanging from above, so they can kind of amplify this like really cool Irish pub feeling for the people that are in the room. And so if you can imagine how awesome of a gig that is, that you could just sit around, drink beer, and eat pretzels and and have your band get paid to jam. That's some ideal work right there. So that's a great setup for old time or Celtic or things like that. But you could also do a bluegrass jam with this size. This particular room lends itself well to kind of doubling down if you have more things like that. All right, let me see if I can get rid of this here. Hopping people. All right. So last couple things I wanted to share here. Same idea at this location here. This is a really fantastic location, and I have just a couple pictures from the Bebop that I wanted to share. Same idea. This is an old time jam, so you'll see the concentric circles. A small circle, people really tight. even people kind of in the center sitting down on the ground. So people in old time jams, you know, the closer people can get, the better, because there's so many people playing all the time. So you notice in an old time jam, if you're not familiar, old time and Irish, they all play the melody at the same time. There's not a lot of room in this place, but because it's an old time jam, everybody's really packed tight. You can actually fit quite a large number of people. So that's the Burren. All right, and last couple locations I had to share with you. Club Passim, you might have heard it. It used to be Club 47, a very, a historic location. And they have jams, lots of different jams as well. I didn't get a video this time with my visit, but this is a fantastic video that goes through the history.
17-year-old in her living room.
Of the history of this location. Really well done, historical kind of video here. So make sure to check that out for sure. And then there's a couple more here and there. Let's see if there's any last notes I had to share with you. This is a location, unfortunately, that's closing. Not usually hosting jams, but good setting for a band to perform. Oh yes, of course, Lily Peas. I think I might have shown you. Yeah, here's the video from Lily Peas. So this is a long room where you can have live music occurring here, amplified music, and then you can have a jam here and then the room behind. So it's an ideal setup where there's a little bit of a sound isolation between the jams. And then this is the one that had the hallways back behind here as well. Bluegrass-esque jam happening here.